Hello and welcome back to our series called Getting Started in Marketing. Today, in this episode, we are talking about who is your customer avatar and what channels will you find them on. Okay, so what's a customer avatar? Is that
A
the thing from the
customer,
movie, the blue guys?
not quite, close
Okay.
though. A customer avatar is how you would describe your ideal customer. So it's not just anybody, it's not just people from the ages of 16 to 66. It's who is your best customer, who's going to buy from you regularly, who's going to recommend you, who's going to seek you out, let alone you seek them. And when you're creating a customer avatar, it's not just age, stage, and how much money they make. There's a huge amount of information that you need to actually bring together to make that person a whole person. And so we're going to be discussing that in today's sort of podcast and session so that you can go away and start creating a more up-to-date and more current customer avatar for your business.
Yeah, because some of the things that you have to include, we're not just talking location or where they hang out or, maybe their financial status or their economic level. It could be their education level. It could be how many children they have, or if
Mm.
they're a single parent, if they have pets, if they like to go on holidays, when they're available, when they're not. Do they like to be contacted at the weekend? Do they prefer Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? All of these things go into your customer avatar. And
Mm.
something that I like to do with my customer avatars is to give them a name and not just, you know, a blank picture or a blank page with just the
Mm.
information on it. So I like to say things like, Joe blogs. And Joe is a man in his, XYZ, and he works in this industry or the other industry and work my way through it. But looking at a picture, even if it is an egg, like we used to have on that platform formerly known as Twitter, those just heads, even if it's just a head,
Mm.
give it something that you can visually see, and that it helps me anyway.
Mm. I also like to think of the people outside of work as well. What do they do for fun? Where do they take their children swimming? Do they go golfing? Are they hikers? So if you can envisage where they are when they're offline, you can also market to them there as well.
Yeah, and it's like we were discussing in the previous episode about solving a problem. Once you know who you're talking to and what their likes and dislikes are and what their problems are, then it's easier to talk to them. And it's something that, again, I see a lot in marketing, is that people are just throwing their posts out and throwing the net wide instead of specifically, making it
Mm.
feel like they're actually talking to a person. So if you specifically say, are you a mother in her 40s with two teenage boys? Then I know you're talking to me.
Mm.
It's like, yep, that's me. I have those problems, you know?
And also, you've got to start thinking what keeps them awake at night. Why are they thinking of you at some stage during the day? What other challenges are they going through that is likely happening at the same time? Because not every problem we solve doesn't work in isolation. There's no way that any of our problems that we solve work in isolation. So, if you want to take your children swimming for the first time and you've got a baby, you need swim diapers or nappies, you need to find the right pools, you need to find maybe some wings, and so there's all sorts of things going on just taking your child swimming for the first time. So there's a huge amount of things that we can take into account when we're creating a customer avatar. Do they have to worry about a second child, or is that second child already at preschool? So how are they coping with that? Are they managing, is grandma and grandfather in the picture somewhere, or is dad? Do you know what I mean? So there's so many different things that we can bring to the table for our customer avatar.
Yeah. And based on the information that you gather and the information that you glean from, it could be surveys, it could be, from past experience of customers that you've already had, you will gather a wealth of information about your customers. And all of that information is also useful to know where they are likely to hang out
Mm.
online. Because as we know, different generations and different ages go to different platforms, look for different things, hang out in different places. Like you and I, Melanie, are very unlikely to be on Twitch or
Very
on
unlikely.
Discord, you know.
Yeah.
But our kids would be more likely. So if you're aiming your marketing at teenagers, because, in an ideal world, nobody under the age of 13 is on a social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're aiming it at 13 to 18-year-olds, the most likely place to do it at the minute, and we're talking 2024 here, is TikTok. Instagram still has some influence over the teenagers.
Snapchat.
Snapchat,
It's
definitely.
coming back, big style.
Yeah, Snapchat shorts, YouTube shorts, they
Mm.
like short form video. So that's where you're going to get them on those platforms, Reels on Instagram. My kids would never, ever ask me to get a Facebook page. Never. It would never even come up in conversation that Facebook is a platform that they would even consider being on. But for the older generation, it's even I'm talking even older than Melanie and I. It is one of those places that they love to hang out, because there they can connect with their family who are our age, who are sharing pictures of their teenage kids without their knowledge. But with their knowledge maybe, but without their desire to be there.
Yeah, don't dig
But it's a
yourself in that
place.
hole any deeper.
No, but it is a place that, each platform has its own audience, and each
Yeah.
platform is really making the most of these audiences and the information that they have on those audiences as well.
Yeah. And I think this is something else that we need to go back on a semi-regular basis and update. Even if it's just once a year, the hope is that you're always trying to add new people to your product base. So if you've got a way of going back and reviewing and updating these on a semi-regular basis, and then you can go and check your analytics. So this is one of the first things I would do, is I would go into my background analytics of my Facebook page, my Instagram, and everywhere else. Google Analytics as well. Let's not neglect that, especially as most of us have a website. And this information can tell you, not just how they've contacted you in the first place, but ages,
Mhm.
genders, locations. And also it might be worth sort of trying to get a reference point of, if you've run an event, maybe you've got a lot of names from that. Or if you had a trade show or a stand, maybe you've got some more contacts from that. So it's really handy to understand which of these mediums are working best for you, in the hopes that you can replicate it.
Absolutely. And just as you were saying about the Google Analytics information, in some countries, it even gives you their income. Are they in the
Mm,
top 1%? Are they in the top 10%? Are they in the bottom 10%? It'll give you so much information. And this is why having cookies on your website is very important, so that it can gather the information that it is allowed to gather, which is also
mm,
very important to stress, because Melanie and I are here in European Union, in Europe.
mm.
I'm not in the anyway. Um,
Don't go there.
no, that's a discussion for another day. But we are under a regimen called GDPR,
Mm,
where we're not allowed to glean all that information of income and specific location. I mean, we can have things like IP addresses, but it'll show me as coming up maybe 100 miles away from where I actually live,
mm,
because it has to be broader. But it gives you that wealth of information that if you were to go out onto the street and trying to glean yourself, it wouldn't be possible.
no.
So definitely look at all your analytics in the platforms that you're on. And it's important to note here that you may find your clients, your customers, on a platform that you don't like, and maybe that you have never thought of being on before.
Esther.
Yes, I'm talking to myself. Maybe your clients like short form video format. Maybe they like watching your face do lots of weird movements like mine seems to do. Maybe they listen to you on podcasts. Maybe, you know, there are so many different ways of getting your message out there. If they're still reading
Mm.
the local newspaper, get into it. If they're at the local networking events, go there. Chamber of Commerce, there's so many places that you can
Mm.
find them. And when we talk about channels, it doesn't just have to be online
No.
social media. It can be your next door neighbor, talking to them over a cup of tea and them telling one of their neighbors or one of
Mm.
their relatives about you and what you do. It's word of mouth marketing is still very much alive and kicking.
Mm. And so is email. Email, people
Yes.
think since GDPR, the email marketing is dead. If anything, it's better than ever because you're not getting all these hangers on, all these tire kickers
Yeah.
infesting your email list anymore. They're, the people who want to be there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And finding the channel may be hit and miss for a little while,
Mm.
but do try. You may think that your audience is in one place doing one thing, and you may find that your audience is actually someone completely different
Mm.
to who you originally thought that you would be selling to. So keep your eyes open, keep your mind open as well, and try a few channels.
And to give it some time as well. Don't just give it a month or so. Give it a good solid 3 months to see. And obviously you have to be consistent as well. You can't just be consistent for 6 weeks and, oh, this isn't working. And then
Yeah, give
so
up.
yeah.
No. Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, if you have any questions for us, you can find us online at the Monday Morning Marketing podcast.com. There we go, the Monday Morning Marketing.com. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms that host your podcasts, whether that be here on YouTube or anywhere else. You can find us and listen to all of our previous episodes and delve deeper into some of the issues that you may have. That's it for today. We'll be back soon. Bye bye.
Bye. Go on, wave. You never wave. Thank you.